So
Of
onto
course.
our trust the process segment. So most often it's the end result of the artwork that the public sees, but there's so much more that goes into the work than meets the eye. So could you share with us an element of your work process that's really important, but we may not necessarily see when we're looking at your work?
Yes, so beyond the element of taking the time to do it and look at it visually, when you work in realism and you spend so much time looking at something, you can sort of glass over. I call it Sudoku eyes. Those who play Sudoku will completely understand, I feel, with me in that you can look at a puzzle for so long that the solutions don't show themselves. You can be looking and never find the next answer until you take some time and you revisit it, and then it's right there in front of your eyes. So I tend, with my working realism, I can, what I say, I get my Sudoku eyes, and therefore I'm not realizing that these blatant, obvious things, maybe the way a light is hitting a glass, and I haven't created the shadow that suits that. Therefore, it doesn't situate in place. So it's nice to have that time for the piece. And I guess the other thing that people don't realize is that things don't come together beautifully. Sometimes they don't come together beautifully, even as a final result. But I'm only now getting comfortable with showing people pieces as a work in progress, because before that I would show work, or someone would visit my studio and I would say, I wouldn't allow them to have any space or thought for themselves, because I would mention, oh, this isn't going to stay like that, and that's not fully finished, it's going to come together a lot better, and I'm going to enrich this color. I felt like I had to describe these, when actually an art form, part of its beauty is within its journey and sharing that with people. And I'm still slightly uncomfortable with it, but trying to explore that a little bit more. We're letting pieces, some are better half done. I've come through a piece and then realized, wow, a stage prior would have been better, because you don't need to hit your audience with so much visual. There's really something really beautiful to some loose brushwork that the viewer can merge those colors together, or they can create, they can understand. And that's something I can show within this piece. Yesterday I painted the fork in this piece, if you can see. Have I got it on there?
Yes.
And so I painted that, and part of me, I always want to strive for more and more realism, but actually up close it's fairly loose brushwork. It took me, have I got it on? Oh, I've nearly dropped the dog.
Audra. So much for Audra's nap today, huh?
Yeah, I know. She's like, what's going on? So essentially, that was my internal struggle with. She's currently pulling out my headphones, with whether I continue making that as the foreground, something incredibly realistic, or whether I just leave it. And I think that I slept on it and I've left it, and I came back looking at it this morning and I thought, you know what, it doesn't, like, I don't need to hit the viewer with detail on this piece. People understand it's a fork, and actually it therefore can look slightly different to everyone's eye. And I think that's more important, is capturing that.
And you describe that dialogue really well between you and your work. And a lot
I
of,
appreciate that.
yeah, that dialogue, it's kind of like we're waiting for to see it, or like to have that, and it's just like it's kind of frustrating sometimes. And I just remember sometimes, like, I would bring a mirror in, or I would like try to like put it somewhere else and then walk in and surprise myself to see if I could see like something different, and try to have like other conversations, try to promote that in different ways. Um,
Yeah,
so
it's funny when you talk about your work, because I think you spend so much time thinking about it that it doesn't often always, well, as I am doing currently, I can't find the words for it, because you're just used to running through that visually rather than verbally.
true, yes, you're right in that. And so also in terms of process, could you walk us through a bit of your journey, and and also like how you're able to pursue your passion full time now, which is really amazing.
My journey becoming full time was very much about trusting myself, feeling like I was in an area where I could enjoy that frustration and passion and creativity that I spend this time with myself on a daily basis. And fortunately, I quite like myself, so we get along well. And I had enough, once I had moved to London, I spent a little bit of time in hospital. And over that course of time, I had to spend a great deal of the beginning months in London recovering, not creating, and therefore when I was at a position where I had the commissions and I had the opportunity to do so, I thought I have to explore this. And fortunately I have, and I love every day, even the frustrating parts of it, because I've been really fortunate to still be here and still be creating. And having a difficulty in your health, I think, allows you to realize where your passions and where the important things in life lie. And for me, that was creating and getting these pieces that I had been archiving in my mind. And if I were to have not lived through that experience, then I would feel like I wasn't complete in creating these pieces that I really wanted to outlive me. So if that kind of conveys correctly, then that's why I'm creating full time. Is because I'm fortunate to be here and have the people who enjoy my work and enjoy myself as I'm spending enough time in studio to create the pieces.
Thanks so much for tuning in. We would love to hear your thoughts or questions. Please let us know in the comments and review section, and we'll try to cover it in the next sessions. If you enjoyed this content, please share and subscribe for more episodes. For latest updates, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Art Focus Exchanges.